is Nate Oman, also known as Obese Reese, also known as Key West Carl, also known as the Bay Street Butcher. I have a lot of aliases. Self-interest. I'm a second year new media major. I'm a third year college student. I transferred into UMaine from UMass Amherst. I was a fucking kinesiology major before this, so it's a little bit of a 180. In terms of my interests, I'm prone to a lot of like flights of fancy, in terms of things that I'm interested in, things that I do. Sort of like a jack of all trades, master of none. But I'm a fan of digital art. I'm a fan of comedy and writing, and I dabble in all of them. Go to the gym. I don't know if that's like a hobby or an interest. Screenwriting. A bunch of things. A bunch of like little things. I don't really know what I'm going to do with them, but whenever I have ideas, I always write them down. I got a couple kicking around. One of my personal favorites being a very 1980s style action movie featuring Santa Claus killing off a Latin American drug cartel to fulfill the last wish of a small child dying of leukemia. I got another one where I would cast Vin Diesel, a movie called Vindiction. It would star Vin Diesel as a crusader, being fighting to take back the Holy Land alongside the Muslims from demons. It's sort of like a revisionist alternative history piece. Put Vin Diesel in like the shoes of like Richard the Lionheart, and then have him smash demons in the face with like a big stone hammer. That's one of them. What else? I mean, I got one kicking around. This was actually a novel that I started working on back in high school, where basically it's like a sort of satirical take on the afterlife as a continuation of everything that's shitty about Earth. The original novel that I had was centered around a demon named Aaron Brimstone, who worked as like a really low level like corporate monkey gopher type to the devil. Like he was like, hell is like basically a big like corporation, and this guy was one of the underlings working for the devil, and he falls in with some weird angelic Abrahamic entities from like that sort of section of Christian mythology, and he ends up changing his views on life and everything. And I ended up sort of taking from that and making I'm trying to make a video game concept document out of it, sort of a little less focused on like that one particular demon and more on like what the afterlife would be like, from my point of view. The third part about new media is I'm gonna have to go with the ability to think of something that I want to create or that I would like to do, and having the know-how and the opportunity to actually do it. Like, I remember I'd never even like touched like a photo editing program or digital art program or anything like that. I barely used a digital camera before I switched into this major. And now I think like, I'd like to Photoshop, Russell Crowe's face onto like a crow's body, because that would be clever, and I can do that. And I like that sort of creative freedom to be like, man, I would love if I could do this thing. And they'd be like, wait a minute, new media, I can. Yeah, I like UMaine. It's a good school, in my opinion. I mean, I definitely, coming from UMass Amherst, it's a huge improvement. In-state tuition is super nice. UMass Amherst was like 73 to 83% goons by density. So you everywhere you went, you dealt with goons, like Marlboro, assholes, and like Guidos. My roommate was this like scrappy kid from Jersey, with like a Celtic cross tattoo on his shoulder. Everyone, goons everywhere. And I was lucky enough to live in the northeastern section of campus, which was about as far away as it got from all the ridiculous, meatheads and party animals, and 'cause everyone who was undeclared was sort of sequestered down in Southwest, and that's where everybody went to drink. So I was lucky enough to be very far away from that. But the good thing about UMaine is I've only met like 4 or 5 goons. I could count all the goons I know on one hand. Whereas at UMass, like, you're just drowning desperately. It's like fighting for air. It's a sea of goons. This is a good one. I've never actually really told anyone this. One time, I was dating a girl, and mature content warning, by the way, and we're hanging out after school, and we're sexually active, as all teenagers are. Anyway, and we're getting a little frisky, and we can't go back to her house because her parents and brother are there. We can't go back to my house because my parents and brothers are there. So we're like, why not do what the country songs say? And, find a nice little spot on the side of the road, and pull over and neck, have a nice little romantic stargazing session and all that nonsense. And so we're there, and we find a nice little spot on the side of this back road in my hometown of Falmouth, and it's way the hell out of the way of anything. And just start kind of, going at it like fucking teenagers. And cop shows up. There's a gentleman that I actually met before named Officer Townsend, and we see the lights shining in my car. I'm fucking half naked, and she's half naked, and we're like, oh, well, fuck this. And so I had to get out, and I got out, and I know this guy by name. I'm like, Officer Townsend, and he's like, you date? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, what does it look like I'm doing? What could I possibly be doing right now? And he's like, why? Why here? I'm like, you think I would be here if I had somewhere else to go? You think that is where I would be? And he's like, I don't even know why the hell he's out here. Like, I don't even know if this was in his jurisdiction. Like, I feel like I was over in, like, frickin' Freeport or something, like, not even in the town's jurisdiction. And he's like, you could go on the sex offender registry for this for public indecency. And I'm like, don't do that. Do not do that. Do not put me on that list. I'm like 3 miles down a back road, like half in the woods, in my car, bothering no one. Do not do that to me. And he was like, yeah, I'm just trying to put the fear of God into you. And I'm like, well, it's working. I think that may have been the most uncomfortable experience of my life, is what I would have to call that. And like, I went to shake his hand afterwards, and he was like, and I was like, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. It's double salt in the wound. Interesting project that I'm working on this semester. I would say I've definitely been trying to write more of that whole readaptation of that old story about the demons and the whatever and the afterlife. That's been my main focus for the past couple of weeks, is trying to retool that into a cohesive design document for a video game. I'm still not really sold on how you're supposed to write a script or a screenplay for a video game. It's really unorthodox, but I'm working on that. I'm making a bug out bag. That's fun. For those of you at home who don't know, a bug out bag is something that the doomsday preppers do. You get a little backpack or a satchel or something ready, and you can just get out the door and go in case zombies show up.